Aye, aye, aye. Sabalai. Good evening. 6 of you. How are we doing, guys? Who's in? Who's on? How are we? Just a quick update. Maybe 15 minutes, and I'm going to see Dodgy Doctors. I have creator. What? What?
Yeah, I know. I want that one.
Ah. I'm very tired, I know that much. It's been a long ass day, but we're alright, guys. How are we? What are you doing? What do you know? I finished with the water for a bit. It's on the side. We'll leave that alone. We'll talk some law, justice, equality, such things as bubbling drains. Say hello. I see Eye of Creator. I started talking earlier about churches and Mr. and Mrs. and titles on my colloidal silver video, and I realised that wasn't the correct place to be mentioning such things, but I'd like to talk about that, about the church's involvement, titles, what happens with that title, what the church does to the man and the woman, how it manages the corporations. So imagine, if you would, a title of Mr. David Jeremita and Mrs. Jane Smith, and me and David and Jane are going out. I apply for a license under the government, and they decide to give us a license. What? I'm safe. And I get a license. I might get the headphones. Damn it. This wasn't planned. Live. David marries Jane. It's my name. So that's the name. Tribute. But it's also something else. As we know from the certificate of birth and birth certificate, that in fact those are trusts. Here we go. Seek and ye shall find. Seek and ye shall find. Headphones. Hello, Moscow. Come in, Moscow. Hello, what? During the war, I was a rear gunner. So, before I was so rudely interrupted, we were saying the church's involvement. Sign here, you know, sign away. It doesn't matter, everybody signs. It's just a normal thing to do. Apply for a license and get married to your soulmate. Well, you might want to just play up above. That's all you are as King Arthur. I said King Arthur, like King Arthur. This isn't going to work, is it? Don't think it's going to work. Just wait. Maybe, if we're lucky. Well, comments. Who's in the house? Stuart. People. Easy now. Breaking up. That's because I went for a walk down the garden. Tell baby. Easy brother. Angela. Yes sister. Alan. Dave. Have you got set dates and venue for the gathering? Alan, if you'd like to go... I say, Alan, if you'd like to go to www.splspro.com, shut up your face, and you will find it there. Yeah. Fuck's sake. What are we going to do here? We have the right. What time is it? What time is it now by generic? 21:53. Noise pollution. Yeah, www.splspro.com, Alan, you will find on the tab that says events. It's all in there, and it will be the 14th and 15th of July. You can arrive on the Friday if you want, Friday the 1 and 3, about dinner time, and you can start unpacking if you've got tents and gazebos and awnings and stuff like that you need to set up. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, brother. Saturday and Sunday. Wanted to sit outside in the garden, just have a cigarette, say hello before I set back to work. Tony Lorenzo, man, common. I see a name adjustment there, brother Tony. I like that. I like what you've done with it. Lovely jubbly. Yes, Alan, it will be lovely jubbly. We've got two or four tickets now sold, I think, so far. So we're just starting to ramp up. They're available for download from the site once we create them. So the ticket system is through PayPal. It's all recorded and monitored. It's fully insured, tracked, traced, everything like that you'd expect. So we will let the tickets out, and then once Greg and I have designed them, we'll get them out and send them email, and then anybody else that buys them after that will be downloading them. You'll get them sent as a PDF, individual and specific to your transaction number, not to be able to be messed with. It's a private event in a field, in a private field, on private land. We are taking ideas for anybody that wants to set up a stall, or that's got anything that can offer any holistic healing, anything to do with such things as crystals, stalls, anything that you might find of interest to your fellow man, in essence. So I kind of sidetracked from the church conversation there, but peace out and love and truth. Boom fizz, eyes wide open, love and light. Orbs realm, hello, good evening. So what was that? I know another creator. Yeah, the festival gathering, we'll call it the Sovereign Gathering SG 2018, the first one. So we'll get some more promotions up on that, some flyers and leaflets or anything promotional that we can put together with what we're going to be holding over what days. Musicians and artists, remixers, vocal MCs, poets, free thinkers, free spirits, even not free thinkers, free spirits, all welcome. Direct them to the domain, any of your extended friends and family, souls, stuff like that. We will have some talks if you want. We can have a quick few talks. I don't think we'll be able to resist it. It is a relaxation and embracing, actually putting the faces to flesh kind of thing, or the names to the faces, to the flesh, to the fist bump, to the fire, to the food, to the merriment, family environment. Your offspring, property are welcome. We're not so sure about pets yet. We haven't confirmed that. We do love our animals, and we want it to be safe and secure for everybody, and no stuff like that. Then they're lovely pets, but sometimes they just get carried away. So there you go. We'll update you further. Check the site for that for further updates. What do you want to talk about? Have you got anything you want to say? Something that's on your mind? What have you seen recently? Something in the news? I'm not in a rant mode. I just come to say hello. Just come to give you a what. Anybody go on the webinar that Richard did last night? Did you have a look into the teachings there? What you could have got for free? Any more that come up like that? I'll try and give you a few hours notice. I didn't get the links till late on, so I put them on at 7:45, 30 minutes before the actual webinar started. So yeah, I'll give you some more notice on that. But any kind of free webinars and the hangouts, we're doing heavyweight hangouts. I'm happy to say we got some requests from a couple of 3 guys so far that want to do hangouts. I think Indigo, Tornado, Anthony, that would be, and Dean, who I've had a chat with today, that was on the chat last time. So that's 2 there. Myself, Andy, they're going to be lined up, going down the line. Topics that you want: refusal to pay tax, Mark Hayes. All right, easy, brother. This party is on splspro.com. It's in Oxford, in a field. What? In one of our brothers' fields. It's a allodial title and everything is owned. Barker. So that's where it's going to be, Oxford. What do you have to say when entering court to change it to a common law court? Yes, Snafu. What do you say? You can't change an Admiralty court jurisdiction to a common law court jurisdiction. As far as I'm aware, this is not legal advice. It's not. This is entertainment and for your mental kung fu, for strengthening. This is all speculation, we'll say. So Admiralty, maritime, assumptions, presumptions. What you can do, not to convene it into a common law court, but you can stop and halt the jurisdiction of the Admiralty and the Maritime by not answering to the name, by not all rising. When they say all rise, say I will rise, but when I rise I do not forfeit any of my rights or entitlements, things like that. You know, I will stand out. I will rise out of respect. Only the dead rise, to be fair. So that's why we wouldn't rise. They may charge you with contempt for failure to do so. To specify your terms when you rise. When you are in the jurisdiction and you are about to give it, then you are in their domain, so you're in their jurisdiction now. You're not on the land in a field in Oxford, which is privately owned in your sovereign capacity. You get me, fam? So you've walked into their place of business. You're in their jurisdiction. Now, are you going to give them jurisdiction is the question. Where is Mr. David Jeremy? Where is Mr. Snafu, Schnaff, Schnaff? I'm here. Well, you just agreed to be him, haven't you? So that's that deal done. Cut done. Get over there. We'll deal with you. You need to be salvaged. Or where is Mr. Snafu? He's here. I can present him for and on the record to be dealt with regarding these matters. What? Who are you? Where's Mr. Snafu? I've told you he's here. I'm a friend of the court. I'm the agent, the layman, the executive. Well, what are you? You are the agent representative. You're not authorised to control the estate. You're authorised to manage the estate. So what we'd say is you are the authorised representative and agent in office. Agent in office. You have the title deed certificate, snafu. So we rebut the presumptions and we rebut the assumptions and we give them the word of man, the man's word in the court, but man isn't recognised, so you'd have to say you are David, Snafu of the family, Snafu of the clan. You are the private person. I, man, am using my private person to govern my straw man, because the man can't govern the straw man because the man's not recognised, but the man has two persons. So they know all this, don't worry. It's just that you have to be pushed to the limit, and you have to know and not use the bloody hell. What, he got in? You have to go in and not use the wrong words and not to... It's ruining my video. Everybody pray. Let's just do a short prayer. A short prayer. Maybe they'll realise. Maybe. A little bit of salvation and hope. So I hope that clarified that point. You can't restore common law court into admiralty, maritime, commercial jurisdiction, because, you know, it's like, all right, other way around. How would you wait, how would you let me think of a scenario. It's like going into that court then with the gold leaf or the Admiralty Maritime, you know, by default, and start claiming your unalienable rights. Well, that flag and the jurisdiction that you're in tells you that you aren't under common law. You've just walked into a dominion, a place of business, which is a listed corporation that doesn't have any securities or anything like that. The only bond that's open is in your person's name, of which you are authorised to manage, not to control, but to manage. You don't control and own it, not yet, not till you've done certain things. See the comments in the Facebook group, reference Simon Dawson's videos from Steve McRae's channel, reference the water bill that's been paid. Good reference point, yeah, see. So yeah, we've got to sort that out, and we've got to look at certain key words there, but I'm digressing a bit. You can't go on into Admiralty Court, yeah, and start saying, so you, by that defence, you can argue common law, but you can't get common law jurisdiction. You will get annoyed, and you won't be able to. You can put the judge on his oath, and you can do certain tricks, and you can vexate him, but if you cause him harm, he's going to seek damages from you as well. So yeah, you got to know the rules, snafu. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know the risks, and you got to play with the instruments at hand. Yeah. So rather than trying to change the court's jurisdiction, accept the court's jurisdiction and change your status and capacity. Don't sing it. You just think, what's my status? What's my capacity? Am I public? Am I private? Am I going common? Am I going equity? What am I doing here? Who am I? Am I going to contract? Am I going to do joinder? Am I going to accept full public liability of claiming that name? He who takes the Father's name in vain and all that, you know, bro. So, here we go. Snafu. What else we got? So I hope that answered that. I've just asked Common Law Court for CLC card. Common Law Court card. What are you going to do with it, Tony? How much protection can it offer you? Have you seen, right? With all due respect, my brothers, I love you to bits, yeah? I need to speak to this John Smith. I will get the 20 equitable maxims and maxims of equity. And in there, number 11, number 15, let me think. I don't know them that well to say them off by heart, but there's one that says when the rulings of law and equity collide, and when the rules of laws collide, then the equitable one, if you know it, will take the precedent over the common law one. There's certain maxims in law that will, and equity, that will help argue this case a bit better. But no, common law is what I use. I use common law, you know, jurisdictions and common law. But the common law is also at a public level. It's a public law level, Tony, right? So at a public law level, if you're operating in a private capacity, how can a private man under creator utilise a public at law level, public law in your private capacity? Just think, you're a private man and you're going to use public law, are you? And a public court, or you're going to use a private one where the door's closed, secret business, nobody talking about getting business done in a way that you can, with laws and ways of fraudity, of which only the man can, the flesh and the blood, the private person, because equity only acts in personam, but they don't give it you all. So where we say the law doesn't recognise the man, equity does. Boom. Your common law doesn't. So if your common law doesn't recognise the man, it recognises persons and this, that. Harm, injury and loss. All right then. So yeah, harm, injury and loss is against the man. Yes, it is. It's also common law though, and the common law is the public, and the public is the public, the general public, military term, occupier, you know, legal. These kind of things. So you need to think about it. You're gonna, you know, and if you go public, you've got the full public liability then. So that means that you've got the public jurisdiction, which goes back to public in yeah, it's limited is what it is. It can be dealt with finance, claims of like the small claims things and that we have against us. That'd be beautiful for that. We could use a common law court. We don't need the high courts and courts of privy courts, chancery, courts of chancery, should I say, and all these other angles are later on for different things, you know, higher and private things. Is there any law to say I could have a common law court or not? Oh, sorry, I missed one. Do you have to actually have to attend court? No, you don't actually have to attend court. No, you. It's me reading that twice. It's an invitation. So if you've committed a civil issue and they've written to you, then you deal with that in paperwork and through your instrumentation. Your civil matter does not require a court attendance. You cannot consent and not want to do business, but ultimately I'm saying that you would say that it doesn't require, yeah, because you are summoned to appear and attend. So you need to think about how you appear and how you attend if you choose to go. If you don't get that right, then that's how it all starts on the slippery slope. But a civil issue should not require, and nobody should be in prison for a civil issue. Think about it. Hello, council tax, civil issue. What are you going to prison for then? Because you did something wrong. You would think they would issue a warrant, arrest, come after you for a civil issue. It requires certain things. And if you can question that and you can stand on it, then no, you wouldn't go to court. You'd sort it out in a private and let them come to get you. But then when you go to court, you will get dragged to court at some point if you don't deal with it properly in the private and come to some kind of not deadlock, but come to some kind of settlement. If the account is in dispute, don't forget that when an account's in dispute, you cannot legally enforce collection or payment on it, can you? Because you've put it into dispute. So legally, no collection can be enforced. So there's little rules you need to run away with yourself sometimes, guys. And if you don't follow it up at the beginning and start it at the beginning and you jump in late and you try and defend it, then if you've not done it honourably, then equity won't come to your aid. So equity is not there for all times for everybody. It's a certain thing that you have to, only helps you if you need the help and if you are in the right honourable state. So is there any law is there any law to say that I can have a common law court or not? Is there any law? No, but there are rights to say that. Not law, snafu, but rights. Your rights demand. Yes, your entitlement. So if you go and submit to a de facto county, district, magistrate type of a court, and you go in there, you've given that power. But you could demand something. I don't want to give you everything, but you could demand your rights, yeah, and you could not consent. And if you committed harm, injury, and loss, and they tried to take you to a different court, a lower court, then you broke common law. and they tried to take you would be able to demand a trial by jury under common law and the grand jury of your peers, a supreme jury, grand jury of your peers, not strangers. So there are rights that you are protected by that say that they're not laws, they're rights. Birthrights, to be exact. If you're looking for where the rights would be, there would be your unalienable birthrights. No man has the right to judge another man. Yeah, you know, these kind of, there's a little bit of a clue and a point in the right direction. Rebut any presumption. That's right. You see, you're learning not to be vexatious, not to be malicious, but to play their stupid little games back at them. Throw him a biscuit, David. No biscuits, maybe, don't know yet. How would I get a video from the police about front wheel blowout? Video, that's the motorbiker then, is it? So front wheel, you go on the freedom of information, or the new one is the, say that because you're involved on that bit of video, you would like a copy of it. Have they got one first? Ascertain if there is a copy. If there is a copy, can you have one? And then what? And if they say no, say why and then you can argue the no. But first, just say, is there? And can I? And then you'll find out, won't you? We can look at that after. But yeah, in the interest of, that would be an excellent video if it's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah. A summons is an invitation. Yes, bruv. Alan. Tony. Got me thinking now. Equity then. Yeah, see what I mean? It's not difficult. Go and look at the 20 equitable maxims and think about it. Think about law in personam. NAM. November Alpha Mikey. So the corporations and the fictions can't use it. Called public is the public name. The public name is the all caps. The lowercase is the private man. Private man, you manage that privately. You can put that in a common law court, but it's a private man dealing with the public law instrumentation then, see? It's still not statutes and acts and all that public instrumentation, but it's the private man in a public common law court, which would not be able to. All courts can use equity though. So this hasn't been done. It's pioneering work, but it stands to reason. We'd need our own court of equity, not their courts of equity, and we'd have to install them to run on the similar equitable principles. So we open a common law court up then, and we open a high court of equity. Okay, let's meet you in the middle. So we could, but they're not set up. You know, these are the dangers. These are the things that you haven't got. I can't go into it now because we'll talk about it another time. It's a quick one, but no. I've had a chat earlier with brother CP, and no. And they never gave me any paperwork, and they stopped me. He blew out front tyre. Yes, it's true that if you are waiting on contact from me, you need to ring me and nudge me, because I got told off today because I forgot someone since whenever it was 11th of May. So we're getting hit up hard and fast. I have replied to the Way Weiss and a few others in email though. You'll be pleased to know. And yeah, teachers and the academy, the sovereign paralegals, SPL's junior, we're going for that. We're going to use that. So we are looking, you know, we're moving well. Common law. I go to the .com. You can have made a visitor forum. So on the .com, splspro.com, if you're a visitor, you can make a profile account. It will last for 24 hours if you don't choose to donate to the £12 remuneration for us and the site, the trust. It will be cancelled after 24 hours, but there's a visitor forum. You can go and chuck some posts in and whatnot. You can go and have a look around and give us some feedback. I made that the other day, and there's about another 16 forums in there that are going to have the control of the admins that are being brought over as we speak and then put it in. Is it true that to have a crime you have to have done harm or caused them loss? No, it's true that, yeah, that's common law. That's breach of common law. So common law is a crime. You are kind of right there, but no, let's keep it simple and let's keep it relevant. A crime requires what? It requires a victim, a victim. If there is no victim and it's a claim or a complaint and there is nobody physically of blood and flesh affected by the claim made upon your legal person, then you don't have to worry. To be fair, you don't have to worry. You know, oh well, I've offended a corporation, I've offended a soulless entity, have I? I may have broken the law. What law are you on about? Like when they say we may use the full force of law to recover. What the fuck do you mean the full force of law? I'm a sovereign, self-governing man, and I'm obligated to follow the law. Yeah, I follow law. I don't follow the force of law. Big Barry, yeah, the force of law. You threatened me with your force of law. Or my blood or kinship, and you know what's coming for you. You don't go around a sophisticated, intelligent, articulate continent such as this landmass that's had all these battles and you know, bloods and tears and swords clashed and whatever, just for a silent, invisible war where we die by 1,000 paper cuts an hour. No, thank you. Yeah, this is quite a nice spontaneous chat. So yeah, the crime is that there is no victim, and man's incarcerated for not committing a crime as such, but they allege it like a criminal offence. Well, which is it? Is it a crime or is it an offence? A sovereign citizen. What are you, a sovereign or a citizen? There is oxymorons that are put there as part of the D-based language, and because you haven't got etymology and phonetics behind you, you don't know about the trickery of the definition or the definition of the word. So a definition is actually a definition. A phonician, phone, audio, yes, and the volume of you know, the volume of space, the volume of law, the volume of an amplifier. All words are twisted and triple or dual meaning, so you are doomed before you even start, because to be fair, to grapple all this, understand it, you need that, which is where we come in and translate for you and build domains and put these documents and videos out for you to have a little bit of a boost. So we move on. The common law of today is legal. The true common law is of the land. Don't confuse ourselves with the words common law. That's right, the common law of today is legal. So common law is acts and statutes, right? That's your common law because it's to the public, so it's common. So when people go common law, they think, oh, common law, harm, injury, loss, and yes, that is right as well. You are charged with common law manslaughter, common law murder. You know, that's how it is. It's not private court law that they use. It's against God, it's the teachings, the creator. It's against the, you know, all of it. So it's not the law of man. It's against the common law that was bestowed in the commandments by, you know, on the hill of, mountain of, and the great. You forget all about that with your smartphones and your Samsung TVs. What's gone off? Where we're supposed to be? All these stories have gone, you know, and you know, eons and eons of happenings. So yeah, this is the laws, and we aren't the big. We seem to forget that in our arrogance. I'll call it arrogance, to be fair, in our technological haven and bliss and idealistic lives. So that's your common law, and that's why we'd argue that your common law isn't your remedy to everything, and why we went to Liverpool and told the Evans family about common law and about certain things and about putting birth certificates in there and what protection it will maximally offer. But it's already a trust. The certificate is already a trust. You have your certificate of birth and your birth certificate. So your certificate of birth contains the surname, and your birth certificate has got the Christian given name on it. So there's two. We've explained this and how that works. So Chilster, yes, troops. We are not troops, we are sovereign soldiers. We are ushering in the golden age of supreme laws. Can I just send in my birth cert to the court? No, you cannot just send in your birth cert to the court, because that's your instrumentation. Why would you let that out your site without that? Well, you could get another copy, so you could send that to the CPS or something to be cocky, I suppose. I like your style. It wouldn't get remedy. You could send it with a notice and your cert and to deal with that. Is that what you mean? I hope it is. Yeah, it is. I meant throw the dog a biscuit if he barks again, David. Yes, I've literally. Have you looked at Open University from anything to do with common law or trusts? No. Live trying again. Good information. Statute law versus common law. That's the one. That is the one. So, Choob, what else have you got for me? I think we're all good. Smoke my cigarette. I've got my lighter. I'm coming back. Talking about churches and misters, wasn't I? Mrs. So titles and trusts. So that surname now of the lady Jane Doe, Marion David Jeremita, submits the Doe and swaps it, replaces it for Jeremita. So that trust, in effect, yes, that trust that that lady had, as I've said, the birth certificate and the certificate of birth. Well, the certificate of birth is where the surname is affixed. So let's say you're popping out your offspring, sorry to be so crude, and you don't have a Christian given name yet. What do you do? Well, it doesn't matter. They just write something down, don't they? Or what's the family name? And they fill out the family name and they take all the details in the birth room, the delivery room, yes, and they put out some details and the statistician gets the bit sent off to them and the paperwork's still done, but there's no given name. But the trust is born. The trust is born by the family name, the trust name, yeah, and then they're just waiting for the first part of the name. So the debtor part is born, yeah. So the certificate of birth is the debtor, contains the surname. That's that part born. That trust is done, yeah, and it's ready. And you go to the forward 2 months, and you go to the GRO office, the General Registry, and they ask, what is the name? The name is, what I'm always on about, swap for marriages, haven't I, to explain about the birth certificate and the certificate of birth for the trusts on the marriages at the end of the name. Yeah, it's all right. I'm keeping it linear. Don't worry. I haven't sidetracked. So yeah, the birth certificate, the Christian name, the given name, and the family name at the GRO. So they assign that name to that. Oh, he's now called David. And they've already got Jeremy from the certificate of birth. So on the birth certificate is the David is applied, and that's why you've got 2 different names and 2 different dates, registration and birth. Yes. So this has been taught and brought to me by Justinian Deception channel on YouTube, Romley Stewart. Mother God damn, Penny's clicking on that. So go and watch Name, Hierarchy, the Perfect Crime, Ledger, and a few others of Romley Stewart. If you haven't already watched Chiron Last, the Web of the Golden Web, watch them 3 and look at your phonetics and get some education there. This isn't a request, this is an order. Tell me what you like with them. So when the man and the woman marry, they used to get wedlock, and they used to get animals, and they used to be a part of the wedlock and marriage, where the father would give animals, and that would be called wedlock. And they would also have a honeymoon, and the father would be asked for the hand in marriage, because it was something to do with families that were being merged, and it was polite before you start messing with families, bloodlines and trusts and estates and that. Maybe somebody poor wanted to marry somebody rich. Well, that happened a lot, didn't it? Because the poor always want to gain something, but the rich don't want to give it to the poor. What? We must control our estates and wealth and heritage, and there must be policies and processes in place, Cuthbert. We can't have this running amok, the peasantry. Oh, imagine the bloodlines. Oh, chaos. Yes, effectively something immediate. So they did. This is what they did, but they didn't tell you. And over the times, the churches are marrying the man and the woman, these soulmates. They don't tell them that the corporations are being merged, and about the trusts and the titles and the Mr. and the Mrs. The BBC even had a show on called the Mr. and Mrs. Show when I was a kid. They were putting it in your face, Mr. and Mrs. And it's like, yeah, who knows what about your wife, and who knows what about the husband, and they tested the husband and wife. But the point is, you put Mr. and Mrs. in your face quite a lot. So you saw Mr. and Mrs. It was in your cognitive thought tray. So Mr. and Mrs. didn't seem like a title that was that foreign or abhorrent to man. But it is. Any title man claims is an abomination, and that's where we're at. So you need to be careful, and it's a joining of corporations, which is why when you get married, what happens with the corporations, they give you a what relief, a relief of fiscal kind. It will be a tax relief, because you are 2 corporations that have unified and joined. You are not 2 souls under God that have joined because you've asked your state government for permission to go and get married in front of God. So what do you think God's going to think about that? Just think about that a minute. You are God's in yourself. The kingdom of heaven is within. You have got the temple, and you can meet at the temple, which is here in your forehead, and you can meet that temple, and you can be in control of it. If you don't keep control and keep peace in the house, then there will be trouble, and you will pay for that in many ways. So thank you for joining and watching, and having the good sense to try and put this into practice. It was just a random little chat. I'm going to go and speak to Dodgy Doctors now and see how you was doing. Just get an update, let you know. The event is going to be updated through splspro.com. All you are welcome, and your family. It is a Facebook trust and a YouTube coming together, and it is open to most of our brothers and sisters on the landmass, as long as they come through the private authentic channels, and we get to have some traceability and knowledge of who might be coming onto our private field. We are looking for entertainers, musical artists, anybody that does tricks, anybody with half a brain and a good soul, you'll do. What else was there? Food. We'll have food there. We'll have running water, electrics. There's a big building. I'm not going to give you too much information now. I'll do it closer to the date, but there's like a pub on the complex that's there that's got all stuff for baby change facilities, anything you might need like that. You know, if it does hammer it down, it's not just going to be a swampy field and whatnot. You can go in and get refuge under a proper dry roof and have heating and whatever. But we have ordered a large sovereign dose of the sun, and yeah, it's going to be quite some gathering. It's not going to be like any of the seminars. We've got a trailer that the side folds down on. It's been specially built by the host Thomas and his friends down there. They have the hog show. Search Facebook for the hog show. That's something you can find out. What you'll see the trailer and the guys on there. I think that's it. The Lamb National, LAMB as in Lamb National, and the Hog Show. Do some searching on that and you'll find the man himself, whose trailer it is, and who's done some amazing work and donated some land for his extended blood brethren to come down and congregate. So this is a massive effort from quite a lot of us. It doesn't happen by magic. It doesn't happen overnight. It might be reminiscent to a 1991 Fantasia Dreamscape Helter Skelter rave on an open airfield in Castle Donington, but it won't be that. But it be by the same minds and hearts and souls that was around about then. That is the most of the demographic that we're talking to now, because you are the ones that have got direct offspring and property that is being threatened, and you have also got you know, the heart to see what is going on and that it isn't right, and you'd like some help in sorting this out. You're not interested in paying hefty amounts of money. You're not interested in reading massive amounts of literature. Yeah, I said that massive amounts twice because it is that massive, and going through Chinese, Japanese, like Sovereign Smith says. So we can help you with that. And yeah, well, I wanted to have a chat, just take all this animosity away and get down to the good old cutting the mustard, the spoken word. If you've got any kind of holistic healing, any kind of trade that you offer that's not, you know, not massively connected to organisations and such things that we are against, like the establishments and big pharma and so forth, then bring it down. Email me at ukfreedomproject@gmail.com. ukfreedomproject@gmail.com. Yes, some fantastic connections. Go check the Sun and Moon's first birthday. That's a 6-hour video for you there. That's immense. It is a lot of flat earth. I come on after 4 hours, meet Matt and a lot of the others, bling bling, Russian vids. Wow, yeah, somebody else, FPV, I've met recently today. He was on a silver video that I did. So there's a lot happening, guys, and we're very grateful for it. Thank you for the update. You've watched Romley Stewart and Robin Larian since the original Gloucester channel known as the Justinian. Kicks arse, done it, 69. Peace and love, guys. Ciao for now.